It feels like the Brazilian GP was ages ago, and so were the issues between Verstappen and Sergio Perez. And you'd think those must have been resolved by now, but surprise, surprise, they haven't. Even though Red Bull did claim that those issues were now under the rug, the truth is that they don't seem to go away. In this video, we'll talk about what would happen if these issues were to continue in 2023. Let's begin. First up, the experts' prediction. After everything that has been happening since the Brazilian GP, you don't need to be an expert to predict that the relationship between Max and Checo won't improve in 2023. Max still thinks that Perez intentionally crashed his car during the Monaco GP qualifying, so Max won't be able to get a pole position and win the race ahead of him. And no matter what Red Bull or Christian Horner says, Max won't listen to them and is sticking with what he thinks happened. This little drama between them cost Checo second position in the Drivers' Championship, which would have been something historical for the team as well. Finishing 1 and 2 in the Drivers' Championship is what every team dreams of, but that didn't happen. And all this has done is damage the trust between the two teammates. What if Max is right and Checo did crash intentionally to finish ahead of Max in that race? Or what if Max is completely wrong about Checo's intentions? No one knows for sure, but one thing's for certain: these two guys don't trust each other at all, and this is the kind of negative energy that no one wants in their team. The two need to sort things out. Up next, irreparable damage has been done. With all that has happened, it has damaged the Red Bull team in a way that cannot be rectified or fixed. Trust is the most important thing between two teammates, and the only thing this confirms is that they will do something like this again. There's no guarantee that something like this won't happen again, and if things like this keep on happening, no one knows how the 2023 season will turn out for the Bulls. None of the two will be ready to do any favors for each other on the track, and that right there is what kills a team's morale. When teammates aren't ready to step up for each other on the field, your team is beyond fixing. And we're not saying that Red Bull hasn't done anything about this. They've tried a lot of things to boost the morale of the team. In their Abu Dhabi garage, they took a big team photo to bring everyone close to each other and give a picture to the world that we're together. But this one moment will live in Checo's memory for a long time, and the same goes for Max. These things don't go away that easily. Max's finishing position was irrelevant for him in the Brazilian GP, but crucial for Checo, but he didn't give it away. Checo has Max in his bad books now. Coming up, Checo needs to up his game next season. This just shows who he is what Checo said on his team radio when Max refused to give him the position. This clearly shows that Checo isn't happy, and he'll carry this moment for the rest of his time at Red Bull. He surely won't defend for Max next season as he did in 2022, sacrificing his own race for Max to get the win. What he should do now is just up his game and think about himself in the upcoming season. The Red Bull car showed some unreal pace in 2022, and we're certain that they'll replicate that pace in the upcoming season as well. With the car he's got, Checo has all the chances in the world to win his first ever world championship, and he just needs to push for it now. He won only 2 races in 2022, while Max won a record-breaking 15 races. We all know Checo's capable of winning more races next season, and that's just what he has to do. It would be interesting, however, to see his reaction when his team asks him to help Max in a race next season. How do you guys think he'll react? We think he'll refuse to help him just as Max did. It's going to be an exciting season for the fans, that's for sure. Now, what if these issues continue? We know most of you guys are wondering what would happen if these issues continue in 2023, and we're asking the same question. We think it's going to be every man for himself next season. It's building up to be Sergio Perez versus Max Verstappen in 2023. As exciting as it is for the fans, these are alarm bells for the Red Bull as a team. You don't want your drivers fighting with each other on the track. You want them to fight for each other. But as things stand right now, that isn't happening. Max will give it his all to win his 3rd consecutive world championship, while Checo will be out there to win his first. Both drivers will give their best to snatch the championship title from each other, and if something like this happens continuously, other teams will be in for a treat. They'll cash in on this opportunity to improve their positions on the track, and it will cost Red Bull some important points. The only way to move forward is to resolve these issues as soon as one can and have a fresh start for the upcoming season. There are a lot of uncertainties for the upcoming season, and we can't say anything right now. All we can say to the fans is just fasten your seatbelts, because we'll be in for a roller coaster ride in 2023. Now, moving on to Sergio Perez is relaxed despite the latest threat to his Red Bull position. First up, is Checo's seat at Red Bull under a threat? The situation between Max and Checo is heating up day to day. Plus, Red Bull has also announced a reserve driver for the next season who is none other than their own, Daniel Ricciardo. One would think that this is a threat to Checo's driver's seat at Red Bull, but Checo, on the other hand, isn't worried about it at all. He's as calm with the situation as he is on the track. The points he scored in 2022 is a feat that he has never managed to do before in his entire F1 career, so he's motivated to improve that in the upcoming season. He's as calm as you like. What's more, Checo isn't concerned about his position on the team. Daniel Ricciardo has openly said that he'd love to race for a top F1 team again, and he has the perfect opportunity to do that at Red Bull. If Checo doesn't perform well, there are chances that Red Bull will ask him to sit out and give Ricciardo a chance to redeem himself once again. At least, that's what most people think, and not Checo. He recently said that drivers always deal with this kind of pressure in their careers, and he knows how to deal with it. He said, "My position will remain the same, and it'll change nothing from my side." Instead of talking about how Ricciardo will pose a threat to his seat, he talked about the positive side of having another great driver on the team. He said that it's good to have a top driver like Ricciardo in the reserves, and said that it's a great achievement for the team that they managed to pull off something like this. He further added that Ricciardo will contribute a lot to the team next season. These statements speak volumes about his mentality. He has proved once again that he's a team player, and he won't be worried if a driver like Ricciardo is waiting on the sidelines to pounce on any opportunity he gets. Checo will keep on doing what he does and improve his position. Instead, this may be a threat to Ricciardo's position in the team. Who knows how many chances he'll get next season? Not to mention, Perez said he gets along with Ricciardo quite well. In the recent statements, Perez only had praise for Ricciardo. He said that Ricciardo's a great guy, and he's someone who he gets along with the most on the entire paddock. Perez is happy to have him alongside him on the same team. Both of them started their F1 careers around the same time, so they've known each other for a long time now. And this is the best kind of environment you need on your team. Teammates should get along with each other at all times. Maybe Red Bull will give Ricciardo and Perez a chance to race at the same time, or is it just too long of a shot from us? Do you think at some point in the upcoming season this will happen? What if it does happen and both these drivers show better chemistry on the track, which they obviously will, but there's no chance that the team will bench Verstappen? This is just too big of a risk, and we don't see it happening. You can't keep someone like Max on the side. Let's see what will happen. Fingers crossed. Finally, Perez and Ricciardo aren't the future of Red Bull. There's no doubt that these two are fantastic drivers, but considering the fact that both of them are in their 30s, it's time that Red Bull starts thinking about their future. You need to have a young driver on your team, especially as a reserve, so you can develop him for the future. Max has already announced that he may quit racing at the age of 31. He's only 25 right now, so there's a long time to go. Red Bull needs to build a team around Verstappen, one that can help them in the present but also in the future. We don't think Red Bull will rely on Perez for more than 2 years. They'll look for other options to strengthen their team, which is the need of the hour. And the same goes for Ricciardo. This could be his first and final year as a reserve driver for Red Bull. What do you think will happen? That's a wrap for this video. Will things get better between Max and Checo? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.